Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Pink Drinks. My name is Zara Lovner,
My name is Isabel Santine.
and welcome to 2026. And holy frick, has a lot of great things happened this year.
We made it.
Yep, we made it number one. We survived 2025 number two. Literally
Woohoo!
spent the last moments of last year kind of crying it out, letting go of everything
Yeah.
with my aunts at a bar. Celebrated 2026 like ringing in the new year by blowing those horns, and then I got a new home.
Woohoo!
Yes, finally. Even though I'm still gonna be visiting my mom like as much as I can because I love her. So just because you move, that doesn't ever mean that you should give up your family. You know?
Yeah, I mean, my family is one such case. I mean, my dad moved away from his family in Spain, and we still talk to them weekly on a weekly basis, and
Mm-hmm.
it's important to keep those folks around because it's a special kind of connection.
Right. But we're not here today to talk about moving or family. We're here today to discuss. Well, actually, it's part of a new mini series we're kind of doing on Pink Drinks. We're talking about
Mm-hmm.
literally every Disney movie ever.
Hell yeah.
Now, I know I said before that we were going to do like just Pixar, but then we were thinking, well, let's talk about every Disney movie ever instead because doesn't that sound a million times better?
It does, honestly.
Yeah.
Because that would include like Star Wars
Yeah,
too.
Star Wars and lots of cool things. But when we see Disney, we mean the ones under the Walt Disney Pictures banner only. Like no DComs, no MCU, no Touchstone
Yeah.
Pictures, Hollywood Pictures, 20th Century Studios, none of that. Just the Walt Disney Pictures.
Absolutely.
Now, the catch is we're going to release it in parts because, there's different decades of movies. So, because we're going from 1937 to 2027, part 1 will be the 1930s and 40s, and then part 2 will be the 1950s, and each part afterwards will be like a decade, like the 60s, 70s, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So, this is going to be very interesting, and I guess we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Let's dive in.
So, obviously, the history of Disney is very interesting. He was born in Chicago, Illinois on December 5th, 1901. Had his first studio in Kansas City called Laughograms. That didn't last very long, sadly. Then moved to Hollywood thanks to a one-way train ticket. And then had the Alice comedies and Oswald Lucky Rabbit. But unfortunately, Oswald was taken by his distributor, and Oswald didn't come back to Disney until 2006 when they traded the rights to a sportscaster for him, of all
Oh,
things,
wow.
to NBC Universal.
That's wild.
Well, I'm happy that Oswald's part of his family again.
Yeah. What a story, though.
I think Mickey came because of that, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then, as the replacement for Oswald, of course, Mickey Mouse came.
Mm-hmm.
And Disney will eventually make more successes with cartoon characters like, Donald Duck and Goofy, and
Mm-hmm.
my personal favorite, the Silly Symphonies.
Yeah. I'm
So-
honestly a really big fan of the early Donald Duck shorts. Those are
Mhm.
funny. I like those.
Yeah. And then, Walt Disney wanted to do something bigger and better in terms of like a feature film,
Mm-hmm.
instead of just shorts. So he made their first feature film in 1937, or him and his team, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So
Was that really the first one?
it is. It's not the
Wow.
first ever animated feature. That title will go to El Pastel from Quirino Cristiani in 1917.
Mm-hmm.
But sadly, that film got burned in a fire.
Oh, wow.
So the oldest surviving animated film is The Adventures of Prince Ahmed from 1926, which was
Gotcha.
directed by a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of like first for animation, no, this is still the first animated feature film from like the US. It's still the first one to be done with cells. It wouldn't have been the first one with cells though, had Italy released their animated Pinocchio movie in 1936 as originally planned.
Oh,
But sadly,
okay.
they didn't have enough money to complete it, and most of that became lost media.
Gotcha.
Which is ironic because Disney's Pinocchio would become their next movie.
Right, yeah. That's so
just
interesting.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just like some random, like, independent Italy Animation Studio.
Oh, okay, and that kind of went under.
It went under, unfortunately.
Wow.
Like, if you look up, like, The Adventures of Pinocchio 1936, you'll still find, like, screenshots of the unfinished movie, and that's literally all that's left.
Wow.
Like, that would have been amazing to see.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, as for Snow White, you know, in terms of, like, the characters, Snow White is not really the best Disney princess
Yeah.
by any means.
Mm-hmm.
And the prince, like, has no freaking screen time.
Yeah.
Even though he was supposed to have more screen time. But I think what saves the movie is the Doors can be really funny what their personality is.
Mm-hmm.
The Queen is fantastic. And the animation, for the most part, is pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you know, the animator for Snow White, actually, is from Wisconsin Rapids, very close to where I'm originally from, Stevens Point.
Oh, wow, really?
That is just so cool to me because it's like, oh, I've been to Wisconsin Rapids how many times?
Yeah, for real.
And he lived to be 100 and also designed Betty Boop, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think what really works about Snow White is, it's more of a movie that your emotions want to see instead of like, oh, this is the best written plot or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
If you look at it in that regard, it's that kind of movie, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that will make you feel good if you watch it, even though it's not that greatly written, you know.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
Doug Walker himself said.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, the thing about, like, Snow White, like, as a character, like, she's not super complex. She's just, like, the typical, like, teenage dumb white bitch.
basically. Oh, but you know, I'm really thankful that Disney knows how to make stories that were kind of inappropriate and make them, you know, family friendly.
Yeah,
we can't get
for
into
sure.
how inappropriate the stories were, obviously, because we don't want to get demonetized.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm very thankful that they were able to, you know, take stories like this or Pinocchio that were not really meant for kids and kind of make them family friendly. That takes a lot of talent.
for sure. Mm-hmm.
And is everything perfect? No, like we discussed. You know, there are some bland characters and bad moments here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But for what they did for a first movie, it wasn't really that bad.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is it a little overrated? Sure. Like, is it the first animated film ever? Absolutely not. But, you know, the artists worked really hard on it, and
Mhm.
people put a lot of hard work and dedication into it, and I think it works because of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Plus, you know, if it wasn't for this movie being a success, I don't think Disney would be here today.
Yeah, totally. And like it was kind of ambitious too, like a new company like taking on such a big project like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just like, as someone who runs her own business, like I can understand the magnitude of taking that kind of risk, and that's like a pretty big deal
Right.
for it to pan out.
And speaking of bigger, Walt Disney and his crew wanted to go bigger and better with their second movie, like I mentioned before, Pinocchio.
Mm-hmm.
So this became the first animated version of Pinocchio, not the one that they were going to do in Italy, unfortunately.
Right.
But, you know, the movie itself isn't unfortunate. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. I know my younger brother Eli would have a lot to say about it.
Well, you know, we had Geppetto's Workshop, like a real-life Geppetto's Workshop in Stevens Point,
Mhm.
with Pinocchio in the window.
Oh my gosh, that's so cute.
And, like, I really loved the movie growing up, even though, like, the scary moments scared the hell out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that transforming in the donkey scene. Ugh.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I think kids need to see that kind of stuff because it teaches them to watch out for scary things in real life.
Absolutely, yeah.
And, you know, you can tell, once again, how they upped the ante in this movie. Like, there's a lot more scary moments, and things don't turn out okay in the end always, unlike Snow White.
Mm-hmm.
And the animation went up, too, in terms of quality. Even the animators themselves said that the water animation in this movie, along with the dress transformation scene in Cinderella, was, like, some of the best work the studio has ever made.
Yeah. I mean, those scenes in particular are just stunning pieces
Yeah.
of art.
Well,
in
you know,
themselves.
the animation from Disney in the 40s and 50s is just still flawless to look at. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Which is funny because when we get to the 60s and 70s, we're going to talk about, oh, the Xerox looks so ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then it gets beautiful again, like in the 80s, and then in the 90s, once the digital paint comes, you know.
Right.
So yeah, it's funny Disney's animation being hit and miss. Because when it can be hitting, it's some of the best animation you will ever see.
Absolutely.
Like, it's like looking up at the sky and realizing, oh, it's blue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Pinocchio is such a good movie, though. Oh my god, I love it so much. But have you ever read the book, though?
I've never read the book.
It's freaking sadistic.
Really?
It's so sadistic.
How so?
Well, basically, all I can say without getting demonetized is that there's a certain rope that's involved
Oh.
for a character.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, Jiminy Cricket kind of gets axed off in the
Mm,
beginning.
Gotcha.
Because you know how he was a big character in the Disney version?
Yeah.
Not in the original story.
Wow. Who know? Who knew Pinocchio could be such a violent story?
Yeah. Well, you know, speaking of interesting things, our next movie is Fantasia, my personal favorite movie Walt Disney
Ooh.
ever made in his lifetime.
Yeah. I've heard really good things about that one.
Well, what's funny is that my favorite segment from Fantasia actually isn't in the movie. It was a segment they completed for a scrapped re-release because they wanted to release it with new
Oh.
segments over the years, but it originally
Mhm.
bombed. It's called Claire de Lune by Claude Debussy.
Oh, interesting.
And it's set to, you know, a piece of animation with two egret birds flying over the Everglades at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's so beautiful. But unfortunately, it never got to be in the movie because of mishaps. And then they rescored it with different music and put it in Make My Music as the Blue Bayou segment.
Oh, okay.
And that music is creepy and it's not good at all. So I recommend just going to YouTube, watching the Claire de Lune
Mm-hmm.
as is because it's really beautiful. Plus, that song Claire de Lune can make me cry alone as is.
Yeah, it's a beautiful song.
Like, you know, classical music in general for me though, getting back into Fantasia, what a awesome thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could not do Fantasia with today's music.
For sure.
It'd be
Yeah.
horrible. Oh my god.
SpongeBob, big guy, pants okay.
Ugh. But you know, like, everyone put their heart and soul into this movie. Like, I was watching a documentary.
Mm-hmm.
It took him 3 to 4 hours just to make one cell for the Nutcracker Suite segment of Fantasia.
Wow.
Holy freaking hell! How does it take 3 to 4 hours to make so much beauty in a cell? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But they really made it work, and the music conducted by Leopold Stokowski just adds to the experience.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I love Fantasia, because it takes two things I love, classical music and art, combines it together.
Yeah, for sure.
That's why I have to say it's one of my personal favorite movies of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And favorite movie of 1940.
Yeah, and that's the other thing that I'd like to highlight here is that this is like really early in film history.
And it looks flawless.
Yeah, it's amazing what they could do like back then when it was such a immature art form.
Absolutely. Alright, so movie number 4 is The Reluctant Dragon, which technically is the first live action Disney movie. But here's the catch. It's just showing how to make an animated movie.
Right.
Which is okay, because it's kind of interesting to see how they do animation and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you throw in a nice switch between black and white to color, you know, the transition to
Right.
movie. I think that's cool. Plus, you know, as someone who loves Disney animation, seeing how they make the animation, I think it's worth it.
For sure.
So, it's a cute movie. Probably not, you know, the most groundbreaking masterpiece Disney movie like how Fantasia could be, but it's
Right.
good for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then, getting back into the Walt Disney Animation Studios catalog, we have Dumbo.
Ooh, this one's a good one.
It's a little bit short, has the racist crows, yes,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and has that heartbreaking moment where the mother gets locked up.
Right.
But there is some very good stuff in Dumbo still, yes.
Absolutely.
Very, you know, good animation once again. Probably not the most artistic animation, like in terms of like pushing the boundaries of animation,
Yeah.
but it's still good animation.
Yeah, it's good animation and it's honestly really good filmmaking in terms of like
Mhm.
just the cinematography in general. Because like there's this one scene where like the scene where Dumbo's mom gets locked up.
Mhm.
Like you can see her behind the bars like swaying like back and forth, and then it cuts to Dumbo swaying back and forth in the same way, but with the striped tent of the circus. And the thing is, they're drawing an analogy like Dumbo himself is basically in a prison of his own kind, just like the bars look different, essentially.
And Pink Elephant scene, that was actually creative animation, I must say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, too bad they removed it from the remake, but we'll save our rants for the remakes until we get to the 2010s, 20s.
They removed it from the remake?
Yeah.
Wow.
But what they put in instead was a bunch of horse shit that I don't want to deal with for now.
Okay, fair enough.
And then, up next is Bambi! Yay! AKA one of the most visually artistic movies from Disney ever.
Mm-hmm.
The forest animation is beautiful. Like, this is the closest I've ever seen to, like, the Claire de Lune segment from Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, like, an actual Disney movie, in terms of animation.
Absolutely.
Because the animals are all drawn realistically. The artwork is so realistic. And it's basically just a movie about a deer living life.
Mm-hmm.
There's no grand adventure for a princess or anything like that, which we've known Disney for years,
Right.
Don't get me wrong, Disney princess movies, when they're done good, they can be good, Just that it's nice to see Disney do some other things too.
Absolutely.
Always having a variety of styles. I think the best thing about Bambi for me is that, well, it's kind of a romance movie in a way, which I'm a sucker for those. I mean, I love chick flicks personally. So, my mom would hate me for saying that because she hates them, but I like them for some reason. But, Bambi is a really good movie overall. So I'm happy about that. And then we get into World War II stuff because the army basically had to help out Disney with some stuff because they needed shelter. And if the army could stay there, sheltered by the Disney Studios would make cartoons to help them in return.
Interesting.
Saludos Amigos, the first of the package films from Walt Disney Animation Studios, it came to be because apparently once upon a time South America was so close to joining the Nazis.
Oh, really?
So Walt Disney took a trip as a Goodwill ambassador to go down to South America and visit the countries there and convince them to join the U.S. instead of the Nazis.
Oh, okay.
Because everyone down there loved Disney.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
Which is interesting because Walt Disney himself was kind of a neo-Nazi.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of what he was in his personal life, but look at what he created.
Yeah.
That's the way I always describe Disney people. Yes, I know there's issues, but look at what they created,
Exactly.
So, in terms of Saludos Amigos, there's really not much to it. It's just like a short little 40-minute movie. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But at least it inspired one of my all-time favorite artists, Mary Blair, to make a lot of her own personal artwork, and then she became the art director for many of the 50s Disney movies.
Oh, wow.
So it's really cool to see a woman in charge of, like, art direction and stuff like that.
For sure, yeah.
So Mary Blair, if you're listening in the afterlife, I really hope that people still love your work to this day and that you are by far the best artist that Disney ever had.
Mm-hmm.
So up next, getting back into live action movies, we had a documentary, Victory Through Air Power, which you can find on YouTube because I think it's in the public domain at this point.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. It's just a propaganda piece, There's really not much to it. What more can I say? I definitely can say a little bit more, though, about the Three Caballeros.
Ooh, I love that one.
Isn't Donald Duck just the best?
Yeah, for real.
Is that why I like this movie? Because of Donald Duck?
Yes.
Well, to be honest, Donald Duck is like the only thing about this movie that I probably remember.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it. And the rest of it, I mean, there was like a cute rooster and a cute parrot who I think was from Saludos Amigos originally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But besides that, like, there's really nothing that memorable for me because it's not like a feature film. It's just still a package film.
Yeah, I mean, I was really young when I watched it for the first time, and I don't think I've seen it many times since.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's on Disney Plus, so I'm sure, like, if ever we need to watch it again, we can,
Absolutely, yeah.
And then,
my favorite ones of the Three Caballeros, though, is the shorts that they did.
Mm-hmm.
There's this one short that's just like one gag after another, like bam, 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 like impact after impact, and I'm like a really big fan of the energy in that kind of animation.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Bam Bam segments were
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
And then moving on to 1946. So when the war was over,
Mhm.
they didn't have a lot of money to do feature films still, so they had to continue with the package films.
Right.
So we got Make My Music, which is kind of like Fantasia, but think 1940s style music instead of classical music.
Right.
But
yeah,
1940s music, I'll take that over modern music any day.
for sure.
So, obviously, the film is still fun to watch. Although, I gotta give points off for that Blue Bayou segment once again because of, taking that great animation from what was supposed to be that Claire de Lune segment in Fantasia
right.
and rescoring it to really hideous, horrible music.
Mm-hmm.
So, not cool. Rest of the movie, though, pretty decent. I think my favorite segment has to be Peter and the Wolf because I like Peter and the Wolf as a story,
Mm-hmm.
and the fact that Disney did an adaptation of it, that's pretty cool. But outside of that, it's not as grand as Fantasia, you have to admit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, it's a good movie and I would watch it, but it's not as grand as Fantasia. And it's also not on Disney Plus for some reason.
Huh.
Why?
That's interesting.
Why is that?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a copy of it on DVD that I can watch actually uncut. Like, the
Okay.
version in this country is actually cut if it's on DVD, so I want the uncut version.
Right.
Well, if you go to, like, the Internet Archive, I'm sure you can find, like, an uncut copy or something. I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Up next, unfortunately, is the racist movie Song of the South.
Ew.
All I want to say for this before we move on is Black Lives Matter.
Absolutely.
So moving on to Fun and Fancy Free. All I can say for this one is that Mickey and the Beanstalk is really cute,
Mm-hmm.
but it probably makes more sense just to watch it, like, re-edited and by itself.
For sure, yeah.
Because the other stuff in the movie is just like, okay, there's a boring cartoon about a bear that pretty much goes nowhere and just has a bunch of slapping.
Right.
Like, that's interesting. And then, there's a lot of creepy puppets in there. That's great. And then that's it. There's not a whole bunch of shorts like Make My Music or the next movie. There's just two. And only one out of the two were good. So I guess, there's only like one piece of goodness in the movie and the rest is shit.
Right.
And then it ends. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Which is too bad. But at least Melody Time was a bit better. I don't know why they didn't call it Make My Music 2, but that's just
right?
me.
Yeah.
Now, unlike Make My Music, this is on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
So, I don't know why they only put 1 and 2 on there. That's bizarre to me, but...
Yeah, that is quite strange.
But, it's still a good movie for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I wish they wouldn't have edited in future releases that scene with, I think his name was, like, Buffalo Bill or something like that.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I know his name wasn't Buffalo Bill, but I'm just saying that to be stupid, so... And then So Dear to My Heart was next, which I've never seen once in my life. So, moving on to Seal Island, the first of the nature documentaries. I mean, it's a cute little movie. I mean, seals are my favorite sea animal, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I love seals a lot.
Yeah, they're basically like water dogs.
It's like, they are water dogs, yeah, and they're so cute. Whenever I play Jackbox games, I always play as the seal and T Knockout.
Aw, cute.
But it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure there might have been some abuse behind the scenes. I'm not 100% sure. But I heard something like how they disturbed the seals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that to be the case because it makes me sad. I mean, there are ways of making nature documentaries that don't disturb the animals, and that's the way you should always go.
Absolutely.
Like, let the animals be,
Mm-hmm.
And also don't speak for the animals. Like how the lady who does every Disney movie ever, her name was Jess. Because her good friend, she said herself, don't ever disturb the animals or speak for the animals when making a nature documentary, and I have to agree with that.
Absolutely.
So, and the last movie of the 40s is the last of the package movies, The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. Vaguely better than Fun and Fancy Free. Maybe still not the greatest Disney movie, but for what it is, it's pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
Within the Willows is a fun segment, the Mr. Toad segment.
Yeah.
I stayed up at 3 o'clock in the morning watching it once. That's how entertaining it is. And then the Sleepy Hollow segment, oh god, is that disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good, though, that it became a Tim Burton movie in 1999. So,
Wow.
that's how good it is.
Mm-hmm.
And at least the 2 segments this time actually work. That's the good thing, you know?
Right, yeah.
It's not like, oh, there's only one piece of good in the movie and then the rest was shit and then it ends,
Yeah.
you know? At least it's pretty consistent this time. Again, it's not a feature film, so we can't really call it the greatest or anything, but in terms of the package films, this is probably the best one because it feels the most like a feature film.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most bang for your buck, essentially.
Well, even though I did like the music movies just because, you know, they were pretty creative,
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
It's just that this felt more like an actual movie versus something
Right.
like, you know, the South America movies or the Fun and Fancy Free. Whatever. At least those movies are still better than fucking Song of the South.
Yeah, for real.
I don't know what Disney was thinking in his head while making that.
I mean, he was pretty racist in general. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Too bad, because look at what he created.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I know there's racism in other Disney movies too, but I kind of put that aside and look at the good aspects, you know.
For sure, yeah.
Even though I do acknowledge, yes, this is wrong, we should not be doing this, you know.
Right. And it, at the same time, it's like kind of a product of its time too, you know?
Yeah.
Like, people in general were pretty racist back then.
Right. But you know what? We'll talk more about that in the next part
For
if
sure.
it comes up because we're done
Mhm.
with the 40s now. Yay!
Woohoo!
So until next time, the Pink Cafe is now closed. And I can't wait to talk about the 50s next time.
For
We
sure.
have stuff like Lady and the Tramp and Sleeping Beauty.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That'll be fun. for
All
sure.
right. Well, take care, and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.